my way into work. You may remember on my 30 Things for 30 video, I said that one of the challenges I wanted to do was to visit all the squares on the Monopoly board. So, for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea if I was to walk it. So I planned out the route, and it's going to be 26 miles, which doesn't look so bad on paper. So yeah, I'll be doing that in July and trying to get some sponsorship for a homeless charity. I'll leave a link about that in the description. I'm just trying to get some practice in before then. So I'm doing about 6 miles this morning. It's just going to be a quick vlog today. Basically it's 4 weeks now until the general election over here, and I just wanted to talk about how you can vote if you're living on a boat. I guess I'm a bit more involved in politics than most people, but it all kind of happened by accident. I definitely wasn't brought up in a politically active family, and it was never something I was interested in until a few years ago. I'm really active within the trade union movement, so obviously there's a lot of political discussion and activity as a consequence of that, and I've done a lot of reading and debating and learned a lot more about politics. I don't know if I'd say that politics is something that I really enjoy, although it's something that I can get quite passionate about. I suppose I see it kind of as a duty, and I do get very frustrated by it. So I do enjoy the times when I'm able to just switch off and forget about it. I'm not going to get too deep into my political beliefs because we haven't got all day. But I get so frustrated because I think that politics in this country is just disgusting. But until we have some sort of reform of the system, we'll have to somehow try and work with something that's broken and try to get the best out of it. That's why, as much as I disagree with things, I am a member of a political party. I have stood in local elections, and I was a candidate at the last general election in 2015. I've voted in every general election since I've been old enough, and in a house it's really easy to register. And now that I'm on the boat, because I'm on a residential mooring, I was able to register easily online, and hopefully my polling card will arrive soon. But what if you're a continuous cruiser or you don't have a permanent address? Well, you can still register to vote. You can do it online or by collecting a form at the electoral registration office in the area that you plan to vote in. That form's called a Declaration of Local Connection. You could register, for example, in the last place that you lived before you had a boat, or in the area that you work in, or somewhere that you spend a lot of time. However, they don't ask for any proof on the form. All you need is a local address, but you can collect all your correspondence in person. So that got me thinking, could that be a way for you to use your vote in a tactful way? Your permanent address is linked to a particular constituency, and if your political views are in a huge minority there, your vote will pretty much be wasted. But if you could choose to register anywhere, surely it would make more sense to do it in a marginal area and really make your vote count? I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Is it morally wrong, or is it something that you would consider doing? That's as much as I have to say about politics and voting, but you're quite welcome to join me for the rest of the walk. We're going to see some really interesting sights along the way. This is about as far as I've ever walked before along here, and it's been about 45 minutes. The whole walk apparently is going to take 2 hours. It never fails to amaze me just how big and how rough the Thames is. The thought of taking my boat there makes me feel sick. These guys are really brave, or really stupid, or maybe both. Found this nice looking Catholic church on the Isle of Dogs. One thing I really don't like is how much of the Thames path is just not accessible along the waterfront because of all of these houses and flats that have been built. I think you should be able to walk the whole way along the waterfront, and then you won't get confused if you're getting lost or not. Luckily I saw this jogger, so I thought I must be going the right way. You can see some evidence on the other side of the river that not everything has been gentrified and there is still some industry in London. And just in the distance there is a very happy sight. It's the Cutty Sark and just the dome of the Greenwich foot tunnel, so I know I'm going the right way. The Greenwich Foot Tunnel, designed by Alexander Binney, was opened in 1902 to replace a ferry service that allowed dockers living in South London to travel north of the river for work. The ferry wasn't very reliable and it was expensive, so the tunnel was a great alternative. It was thanks to a docker turned politician, Will Crooks, that the tunnel opened, because at the time he was the chair of the London County Council Bridges Committee. The tunnel is 12,015 feet long and 50 foot deep. There are 200,000 tiles lining the walls. The tunnel is a public highway, so it's open 24 hours a day. Before an extension to the Docklands Light Railway in 1999, the foot tunnel was the only way to cross the river in that area. When I was a kid, my dad would take me to Greenwich a lot, and using the foot tunnel was always the highlight of our trips. So I will often still use it rather than going on the train. Back then in the 90s, if you walked through during rush hour, the tunnel would be so busy. And I always remember that it seemed much longer when I was a kid. I love it down there. It's so cold and echoey. And as a kid I used to imagine that the river would flood through and I'd have to run to avoid being drowned. Or I'd think about what it would be like to buy the tunnel and live down there. So I guess my non-conventional housing option was inevitable. After my dad died, I didn't come back to Greenwich for a really long time, as I think I was scared that it would bring back too many difficult memories of him dying. But luckily now it's got to a point where I can go there and just be nostalgic and remember all of the good times that we had. And maybe it sounds a bit silly, but just being down there, it makes me feel in some way as if I'm a lot closer to him, and like something about him is still here, some of his memory is still living on. When I was little, the lift used to have an attendant operating it, and I'm pretty sure there were benches that you could sit on too. The attendants were always big old men dressed like the people that greet you outside the really posh hotels. I loved that. See this bench up here where that couple is sitting? That's where I shared a first kiss with the person who I will always love more than anybody else in the whole world. This is the Naval College. And finally we can see the O2. This is where I'm headed. My office is just nearby to there. I was really worried that I wasn't going to be on time because I kept stopping to take photos and to film. Because I kept having to go down streets because you can't walk all along the river. And another building site, more affordable housing for the people of London. This is the A12, and I believe that building on the left is one that I pointed out earlier from the other side of the river. Just off there in the distance is the Blackwall Tunnel. If I was to have driven here from home, it would take 10, maybe 15 minutes, but there's no pedestrian access through the tunnel, I went for a long walk a couple of days ago in really bad shoes and no socks, just to see which areas of my feet would be most sensitive. And that is a really, really bad idea. I don't know if you can see that netting just there, but that's the golf range that I often practice at. So I hope that didn't bore you too much. I'm almost at work now. It took me 2 hours to do about 6.5 miles. My feet were really, really sore, so if you don't want to see them, look away now.